Amazing weekend move by Bitcoin, which in a huge punch went back to the $122,000. Now it corrected. We're back at the 119,000, but we saw 122 still overnight between Sunday and Monday, which goes towards what I was saying in the other video, where we could see $170,000 Bitcoin very, very soon. Ethereum, XRP, Solana, all of these altcoins are still performing very, very well. Ethereum above 4K, XRP still above 3.10, Solana still over the 170. So let's take a look at these tokens. Let's analyze them and see what we have to expect throughout this week. Let's jump right into it. So awesome weekend. We can start by showing and going through the prices that we find ourselves currently here. So we have Bitcoin. Let me zoom in. We have Bitcoin at $119,000, 576. You can see it's going up and down a little bit. We have Ethereum at 4178, XRP at 318. We have BNB going below the 800, which it was throughout that weekend. And we saw Solana at 177.9. Of course, we have other players here, but we're not going to be looking at all these altcoins, but most of these had a huge boost in the last week. Let's see, past 7 days, Ethereum 17%, XRP 6%, BNB 5%, Solana 8%. So with that being said, if we look at the fear and greed index and the altcoin season, we see that we're still neutral on the fear and greed, and we were going towards the altcoin season, but now we're kind of pacing back towards Bitcoin season because of this huge movement that we saw on Bitcoin. We can actually look at it right here on the daily. You see this huge wick, but if we go to the maybe 1 hour is good for you to see. Look at this throughout the 1 hour. So it started last night for me at least, and we went up 2.5% almost, and pretty much overnight we saw these huge green candles right here, these two back to back, and now we are going back towards yesterday's price. You can see we had a huge funnel right here on the Bollinger, just like we had this one. First movement, second movement, we slowed down, and because we reached the 81 on the 1 hour RSI, so we had huge overbought pressure, and now we're slowing things down. I don't know exactly where we're going to stop with this movement. Maybe we're going to look for the bottom of the Bollinger right here. On the 4 hours, we can look at Bitcoin and see that we're testing right now a moving average. So maybe this is going to be able to hold us, but if not, worst case possible, we have the 117,000 here with the 200 moving average. I don't see it reaching that point at all, but worst case, we have this as our first stop, first very, very strong stop. You can see we stopped twice here. So if we keep free falling, this could be a place for us to stop. On the daily, you see that, as I said before, we have a huge wick right now, and doesn't mean that we're going to be going down, but maybe we're just going to slow down for today, and then the next days we are going to be looking towards this yellow line that is going up very, very fast. Tomorrow it will be around the 117,500. So we have to keep an eye on Bitcoin to see why it had such a huge movement and why it is receding so fast. We have to keep an eye on that. Now, talking about Ethereum, still on the 4 hour chart, and we have been overbought for quite a while. So 81.74 here was the top, was right over here, and now we're slowing things down, going towards the 50 right here on the RSI. So the Bollinger Bands as well were right at the middle. We have the 200 and the 100 moving average way below, so those are not numbers that we have to consider as next stop, but we actually have this 39.25, maybe even a little bit above right here at the 4,000 as important places, important numbers in case we keep going down. But I don't know if we're going to keep going down, because if we go to the 1 hour charts, we see that we're going towards oversold conditions. So we might enter oversold conditions, maybe 26, maybe 25, and that will bring us right around here, the $4,000 mark, which is the number that I said. But we have first to see how we're going to react right at this place, which we have been trading, and it is an important number because we've been pacing here before. See, right here, right here, right here, here once again, and now we're back at it. So we have to keep an eye on how we're going to react to this level right here, and depending on how we act with this level right here, if we go below it, then we're going to be looking at the 4,000 most likely. What are these lines, Everton? What are these orange lines that I see? Well, these are the strikes that I'm selling my puts or my spreads on. So you can see I sold a spread right here, one right here, one right here, one there, and now one over here. So these are usually, I mark them like this because it shows me the time that I started right here, the time that the option expires. When I'm just selling an option, this is the strike of the option. When I'm actually selling a spread, this is the closest. So the selling leg, this is the one that I mark. Usually I sell one and I buy one if I'm doing a spread, but usually you buy further away, so further out of the money. You don't need to mark twice. You just need to know what is the lowest for the selling leg. So these are what the orange lines are right here. So you can see almost daily I've been trading. Sunday, usually I don't even touch the computer. So this is why they're marked like this. For Solana, we don't know what to expect from Solana. We just know that now the 100 and 200 moving average are converging into the $175 here for Solana. So that is actually important for us because it looks like we're going to go towards that. But because the RSI is coming from the top towards the bottom, maybe we're going to break this if we don't have enough strength right here. So keep an eye on Solana. Solana, unfortunately, not showing so much resistance right here. If we switch actually to the 1 hour, now it is a little less bad, if we can say that, because we're already getting towards the oversold right here, and the 200 moving average is at the 172. So we might touch the 172 and stay above the 175, which on the 4-hour charts is the 200 moving average over there. So almost same numbers here. When we go to the daily on the moving average, we have the 173 as a point of interest for us to look at support. So maybe we're gonna hit that and still keep above with the next candle here on the daily. So that hopefully is what's gonna happen. That should be enough to hold Solana from falling even further. So going to the topics ourselves, I have that Ethereum leap that we talked about. So when I showed you the Ethereum leap last time, we were looking at 60-70%, and now it is at 95%, but not even 48 hours ago. So between Saturday and Sunday, this was above 100%. So you might tell me, Everton, why didn't you close that at over 100%? As you said that you were going to hold it or close it when it was around 100%, maybe even a little bit more. Well, because I still believe that now we're going to be seeing 4,500 Ethereum. But am I going to hold it to 4,500 Ethereum? No, I'm just going to hold it for the next leg that we're going to see. Maybe I should have closed that at 102, 103%. That was the maximum that I saw. Maybe I should have closed that. But maybe I can still push a little bit out of that intrinsic value since this option is for next year. So it is 2026. I'm trying to not only be best case scenario and worst case scenario, but also to extract as much as I can from this option. If I had the opportunity to close partially, I would have closed 80% of that position and just held 20%, to see where they would go. But because I cannot do that, because I only have one contract, then I'm going to hold the whole thing. Even if I close it right now, 95 is still above that 70%, that 68% that I showed you a few videos ago, and still in the profit. So even if you go back to 50% in the profit, it's still 50% in the profit. So it doesn't really matter. Right now we're getting into that gamble territory. As I said in that video, when it is too good for you to screenshot is usually the time for you to close. So we are getting there right now. 100% returns on a leap that I bought, a month ago? Yeah, July 10th. Today is August 11th. So 100% on this option is amazing. And you should consider, if you are following me with this, should consider closing it if you are in this situation. So hopefully I'm doing the right call right here. And if I'm not, I'm going to be here to show you the results and everything that I'm losing here on the topics as well. So before we close, two more things. First of all, bullish on Bitcoin, because I just saw an article right here saying that Strategy, which before was MicroStrategy, just added another $18 million in Bitcoin for their portfolio, for their strategy. So that is bullish, and that goes towards what I was saying in the last video. Let me actually move maybe right here, which is, I still think that what we're seeing right now, it is actually this part of the pink line, whatever that color may be. I think it is pink, but I think we're right here right now. So you see this huge spike that we went from right here to right there. I think this is this one, and we're still waiting for this huge movement to happen on Bitcoin. I still think that we're going to see this huge movement. So we're going to go a little bit back towards the 115,000 on Bitcoin. And then when we least expect it, we're going to see once again the free read going back to the 30s, maybe even 20s. I don't know if we're going to go that low, but we're going to see Bitcoin going back towards the 115. And then when this happens, we're going to see a huge spike in price. And I think Strategy is seeing what I'm seeing right now, because they are adding more money, and they have been adding more money even when everyone thought they were crazy. So I think this is a bullish signal for me, bullish signal for everyone. And as I said, when we see that correlation between how strong the dollar is as global currency and how strong Bitcoin is, they usually are inversed by 1.5 times. So right now the dollar seems to have gain back that strength that we saw it lose last week. So that may be the catalyst to bring Bitcoin down a few points back towards the 115, maybe back towards right here. And then we should be seeing that moonshot that I told you, maybe all the way at once towards the 160, maybe the 150, who knows? But this is how I see things happening right now. And then after we get the 170, then I believe that this will be the top of the cycle, and then we're going to start to have a little bit of an altcoin season, as I have been saying for the past 2-3 months. I don't think this altcoin season is going to be that strong because we have been delayed, and I don't think this altcoin season is going to be that strong for blue chips. If we're getting low market caps, we're still going to be seeing huge meme coins going to 200 million, $1 billion or market cap. But for blue chips, for high top 10 altcoins, I don't think we're going to be seeing huge altcoin movement like we saw on previous cycles, on previous summers. But again, hopefully I am wrong, and hopefully we have a huge explosion of altcoins like we saw in other times. But already, I think we're getting closer to the top for everything, which should be by end of September, beginning of October. Hopefully I'm right with this analysis. I want to see what you believe, what you guys hear online on how things are going to be played. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys had a profitable weekend as I did. Again, if you haven't checked the topics, we now have a free options course. The second module should still be coming by August with more advanced strategies that you can use to make more money in a better, safer way with Bitopics, with options. If you haven't checked it out, completely free. You just have to register with the link in the description, the first link right here, or with a QR code that will bring you to Bitopics. You register, no need to deposit anything. Just click on the education button there and you will start learning today. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.